Excited? Excited, right?
I'm thrilled.
Jesse Perkins, my boy.
Coming at you.
Glad to have you on here, man.
Glad to be here.
So, we're just going to get this out of the way.
All right.
Did you really fuck a bear while you were out
no
there? Or
bear.
get fucked by a bear?
You know, there's been a lot of people talking out there about what really went on, and there was no bear fucking going on, let me tell you.
So you mean to tell me this video I have on here is not you?
You know what? I plead the fifth. It definitely was not me.
It is. I swear this is you.
Well, you've been misinformed, or you're seeing something, because that ain't me, let me tell you. Me and bestiality do not go together.
So, that's not you, is it?
No, I can tell you I've never been.
That's not you?
I've never been in the woods with that bear. I can tell you that much right now.
All right. Well, at least we got it on record.
Yeah, thank God.
I'm happy.
Let's clear that.
That's out of the way.
Yeah.
Everybody can leave you alone, right?
Hey, I'd hope so.
Okay. So, you left, went and hiked the Appalachian Trail. Right?
I left March 9th, and I got to Amicola Falls March 10th.
Where's that? That's the end? Is that the end?
That's the beginning. It's actually the approach trail. So when you do the Appalachian Trail, you can start 10 miles ahead from the approach trail, which is in Springer, Georgia, and you can skip the approach trail. Basically, what you're skipping is a staircase. It consists of like probably 800 stairs, and it's straight up a waterfall. So this is amazing, though. So
you did it.
I did it. I wanted to do it because, you know, you do the whole thing if you do Springer to Millinocket, Maine. But I wanted to do the extra 10 miles just because if you're doing 2,200 miles, why not do an extra 10 miles, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I'd have done it too.
Yeah.
So how long were you out there?
5.5 months. I took 33 days off for 0 days. See, on the trail you have 0 days, which is non-hiking days, and you have Nero days, which is nearly 0. So anything from like 1 to 8 miles usually is a Nero. And I had quite a lot of Neros, but you don't keep track of Neros. You keep track of zeros because, I mean, you don't make any headway that way. So
what do you do on 0 days?
0 days, you rest. See, at the beginning of the trail, you start to have a hiker hobble. And a hiker hobble looks about like a 90-year-old grandma, you know, walking down the street, you know. And everybody has it. It's kind of funny at first. Everybody starts laughing and shit, but, you know, you kind of move past that because, you know, everybody's got it and you have it, and then, you know, it's not so funny anymore, you know. But once you get, you know, three quarters, or no, I'd say about halfway through, you know, when you see people do it, it's just normal. It's just normal.
Just being sore and
it's just
not used to it.
Yeah, just being sore, and your tendons are so sore, and your feet, you know, you're always on your feet, you know, for hours and hours and hours on day. So, like, you know, in society, you're on hours and hours and hours a day, depending on your job, but you're not walking up mountains, and you don't have, you know, bumps and rock formations and this, that, and the other that you're going up. You have flat ground. You don't have that out there. Very, very, very rarely do you have it out there, I would say. So.
Right. So how many miles is it?
So the total mileage is 200 or 2,200 miles, and that's going to vary though on your total mileage realistically because there's side trails you can take, and side trails will be anything from 0.2 miles to 2 miles, and you can take that. But then once you go the distance, you got to come back. So then a 2-mile trip may turn into a 4-mile trip. So
you're behind 4 miles.
On
your day.
You're behind 4 miles depending on the way you look at it. You know, yeah, in your day, technically, if you want to make mileage, you're behind 4 miles, but you're really ahead 4 miles because you got to see something that probably nobody else.
So where are the side trails? What's the point of those?
They
go out to like a view or
side trails can be anything from a view to waterfall to, I mean, just about anything, any site. And they're worth going to if they're usually bigger miles away because nobody goes to them, and what you see is going to be pretty amazing usually. So.
Right. I've seen some of those pictures you posted. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the The best side trail I think I went to was in Pennsylvania, and I say it's the best side trail. Was it the best view? No, but I took a side trail. You never know what you're going to find on a side trail. I didn't think I was going to find this, so I went up, thinking, hey, it's a normal trail. I just want to see, some view today. The thing about Pennsylvania is it's all rocks, and the highest elevation on the Appalachian Trail is 1,900 feet. But I went on it anyways, and I went down and checked it out. And there was a big boulder I wanted to climb and check it out. And I ended up before I got down off the ledge that I was on to try to climb this boulder, I looked out and there was rattlesnakes, copperheads, and black snakes all together just hanging out. I'd never seen anything like it. And it was a big snake pit, only the snake pit was on a rock. It was a boulder. And they were just sunbathing and shit and, all hanging out together. And I'm like, man, this is some weird voodoo shit. And, I was just a little bit taken back by it. So, but I went down anyways, kind of get a closer look because I don't know, I'm a little, crazy like that. So I went to go get a closer look. But when I got a closer look, you start looking around the general area of below where the boulder is on the ground, and then you see even more snakes everywhere. It was a massive snake pit, the biggest one I've ever seen, of 3 different species of snakes, and it was wild. It was amazing.
How many? How many did you almost jump into?
Okay,
that's what you're saying. You almost died.
I'm gonna be realistic, man. I think that there was at least probably 25 to 30 snakes, and they were all there. And
they knew you were coming, dude.
They could have known. But you know what? I wasn't going to explore that option any more than I already had. So I turned around and got back up and maybe took some pictures and video, and I kind of left it at that.
I think you did post a video on your Instagram. I do remember seeing that. You were talking about it on there.
It was one of those experiences that only happen every once in a lifetime, I imagine. I don't ever think I'll see a massive snake pit like that again.
So you had all those miles ahead of you when you first got out there.
Yeah.
You didn't prep at all?
No, there's zero preparation. I mean, you go out there and you have guys that prep from anywhere from a year to 5 years to 10 years. Some people prep their entire life, depending on your age. You got guys out there. You got 18-year-olds. The younger the generation, the fewer the people, and those few people that did go out there that were that young, when I say 18, 19, 20, they just weren't in it for the long haul.
They quit early.
Most of them quit. I knew a handful of people that were that young and that actually stick with it and finished out the trail. And then when I say a handful, I mean there was only a handful on the trail. So, there was very few people who actually finished it were that young. The thing about going out there on the trail and being as young as you are at that age is it's really got to mean something, and it's really got to be something that you want to do to really change your life. And if you're not going to commit to it, then you're not going to make it, So
you had zero conditioning.
Zero conditioning.
But you said that some people prep for years.
Some people prep for years. There's some people out there that are daily hikers, weekly hikers. What was I? My extent of hiking was working construction.
Zero.
Yeah, going across one side of the job site to the other. That was my extent of hiking. And not that I didn't like hiking. I liked hiking, but I just never got with it.
Do you regret not conditioning or prepping?
I don't. I don't. There might be
you got to get into the groove really quick then. So you just have to. It's balls to the wall straight. You have to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
Because if you fall behind, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to push. You have to push miles at the beginning. Because if you don't push miles at the beginning, you don't want to be out there in October, November. Not to say there's going to be snow, but there's going to be
pretty good chance.
Pretty cold weather. Yeah. And I faced cold weather at the beginning, all the way down into, 10 degrees and less, and snow drifts all the way up to my knees. So, I knew what I was going to be looking forward to if I didn't hurry up and get through as fast as I could. Relatively fast anyways, because I did take, a substantial amount of days off. I could have finished a month early even, but I know you enjoy yourself so much out there, doesn't
Yeah.
So that's kind of the route I took. I took the route I took because, with not conditioning and whatnot, because I figured I'd get out there and I would do, X amount of miles a day and the pounds would just start flying off. Now, that's not exactly how things go. and I was kind of
A freak?
well, not a freak, but kind of a lone person out there with how many miles I actually did a day to the pound.
You were above average, or
above, yeah,
more?
exactly. I would say above average, and I'm saying that because my pounds lost to miles I did a day, and then you include my pack weight in there, and I mean substantial amount of weight that was lost in comparison to a lot of people.
How much did you
out
lose?
there. Total, I lost 55 pounds.
That's
So,
awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
was a
an
big boy.
extreme way to do it, but it's still awesome.
It was, and when you say, do you regret not training for it? I mean, maybe times I do, I don't know, but overall, no, I don't.
Whenever you say train, it's not lose weight; it's more conditioning.
It's
'Cause you can be
conditioning, yeah.
bigger but have good conditioning.
Exactly. There was actually a guy that was pretty heavy set that was out there that was my weight, and he did the same trail, was pretty much doing the same amount of miles as me, only lost 5 pounds the whole trail. So it varies on body type. You can't just say that you're gonna.
Well, you weren't big, but you were small to begin with. I mean, you weren't heavy, overweight.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
You're a tall guy. You got.
I mean, and compared to other people's eyes, no, I wasn't super heavy, but like, I see a picture of myself now, and I see a picture of myself before, and like, I look right now like I look back, and
Well, yeah, you look giant.
Yeah, I look like exactly giant. I look right now like I look back in high school.
Huge. Yeah, I mean that's just how it goes. Whenever you don't think you need to lose weight.
No,
you kind of do.
And you see 55 pounds. I mean, from your face to your overall, your body mass. I mean, you see a massive change in yourself.
Yeah,
so.
you look good, man. I'm glad you did it.
I mean,
you're better for it.
I am better for it for sure.
So I'm sure people want to know also, what did you do for food while you're out there?
Right.
So I know you can. You run in the little towns along the trail. It's not just all complete woods and things like that. You're not just hiking up a mountain the whole time.
Yep.
You run in little towns, and you can send yourself packages,
Yep.
right? So how did you go about that? Did you just Google search what you should send yourself, or how did you do that? What did you do?
Okay, so you can send yourself resupply boxes, yes. But the reality is if you send yourself resupply boxes, not only are you basically putting everything on the person that's sending them to you to try to be accurate with when they send it to you.
You mean?
Yeah, to time it. But here's the thing about timing on trail. And here's the thing you learn about resupply boxes. Resupply boxes are great. You get exactly what you want. You don't have to go into town and be getting a resupply basis on, what's available. You get to choose what you want, which is phenomenal. But the thing is with that is you never know how really hungry you are on trail. You can be overly hungry one day and eat, 4 pounds of food one day because you were just super hungry, or you could eat, half a pound of food one day because you really weren't that hungry. It varies, and you don't know what you're going to be getting into. You could be getting into something that's consistently 4 pounds a day and run out of food within 3 days, or you could go consistently half a pound because you just didn't have an appetite, and you could make it something last. You can make a 12-pound bag last, a week, 7 days, So, I mean, it varied, and once you got to a point, though, if you were not getting resupply boxes sent to you by somebody from home, what you had to pick up either at the mail or a hostel in whatever town you're in. You had to get a hitch, usually, because very few towns were actually on the trail, where the trail ran in right through the town. So you had to get a hitch. I hitched more in my life than I ever have. I probably hitched right around 60 times to get resupplies.
Hitchhiked.
Yeah, hitchhiked. Now, hitchhiking out there isn't the same as hitchhiking anywhere else. You have people out there that know that you're a hiker, and
well, you
they're
probably have
hiker-friendly.
you got your pack, and you look like a hiker.
Yeah, you have your pack, and you look like a hiker.
You're not some murderous bum on
True.
the side of the road with a cardboard sign.
True. Now, you do smell terrible. That's not going to happen.
So long as you went. without a shower.
Yeah, the longest I went without a shower was 2 weeks.
Oh, you're nasty.
Yeah,
I can't believe you.
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
I was. Well, I was smelling like a big pile of heaping shit. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll tell you what, sometimes you just get what you get. You can wash off in creeks and stuff, but the thing is the longest time I went without a shower was actually at the beginning, because you can't actually wash in creeks and stuff, because if you do, that temperature is like 40 degrees, 30 degrees in the water. Nobody wants to take a bath in that. I'm sorry. So it was 2 weeks for me, and I smelled like shit. So
all right. So what are you taking for food? Like what is your now, knowing what you know now? So let's go ahead. What did you send yourself before, and what do you wish you would have sent yourself now that you know?
Okay, so resupply boxes. I actually only got a few on trail from my mom. She sent them without me knowing. I don't even know how she kept tabs on me to send them in the right places. Where I
tracker, like a dog.
Something, yeah, something. A tracker, or just investigative guru. I don't know. But she ended up sending me like a few. Everything I did on trail, though, resupply-wise, was hitchhike and go into town. Now, I did this because I didn't want to rely on anybody back home, and I kind of wanted to distance myself from everybody at home. So,
which is, that's what a lot of people want to do.
That's what a lot of people want to do, but when you're out there...
Do you regret that?
No, I don't regret that.
Don't regret it.
And I saw plenty of people out there that wanted to do that, then ended up caving and talking to people from home, friends, family, whatever the case may be. I went 5.5 months without talking to anybody, not even a phone call, not even a text to anybody. So do I regret it? No. I think that's what made my trip the way it was. And there's plenty of people out there that did the polar opposite, even that wanted to do what I did. So not saying that I'm any better for it, but for my choices in life with what I wanted to achieve out of it, yeah, I'm glad I did it the way I did. So.
Okay. I like it. Good answer. What did you say the highest elevation you went through? 1,200 feet?
No. The highest elevation you go through is in the Smokies. It's Cleman's Dome. Cleman's Dome is almost 6,800 feet.
Well, I was way off.
Yeah,
I fucked that up.
Just a bit.
So did going through all those elevations, did it mess with you at all? Like with your head, or like nothing, altitude sickness? I know that's more of like a Mount Everest, straight up a mountain.
Well, it's Mount Everest, but at the same time, altitude sickness, you're not necessarily going to get altitude sickness from the amount of elevation you're going on, but it's not to say that it's any easier. They say that the total trail elevation gain to loss is going up and down Mount Everest 7 times.
Jeez.
So that's the total. That's the total statistics on that. And for me, the Smokies were my first challenge. The Smokies were what was it, like 300 feet or 300 miles in.
When you hit the Smokies.
So
do you hike along the Smokies, or
you hike directly in the Smokies? You hike directly through the Smokies.
Through them. So you just cross right over them.
Cross right over them. And the thing about the Smokies is whenever I hit them anyways, it was mid to late March. So what you have is freezing in the morning, and then you have melt during the day, and then you have refreezing at night. So during the day, whenever you're hiking at the beginning, you don't have any problem with water or anything when you're going up. You're going up and down elevations of like gains of 1,000 to drop down 1,000 to gains of 1,000 and dropping down 1,000 feet. But you're also going through water. It's basically going through creeks that are going down the mountain, and it's insane. It's insane because having wet feet on the trail for an extended period of time isn't fun for anybody, especially you. It can lead to trench foot. And
tell the people what trench foot is.
All right, trench foot is basically to where the skin on your feet is just falling off and a massive amount, and then once the skin falls off, it's super tender and super sore, to the point where when every step that you take is hurting you.
Every step you take.
Every step you take, yeah, just
I'll
like
be
the song.
watching you.
Pretty much, but nobody was singing on this trip. Let me tell you, it wasn't fun by any means.
Did you see anybody get trench foot?
Yeah, there was a.
Did you get trench foot?
Did I get trench foot? No, I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't
but
get
you
trench
saw
foot. I was on the way to getting trench foot a couple of times because I had my feet soaked for 7 days on end, and wearing wet shoes and taking them off and putting them on every morning on 7 days on end, just like frozen clothes at the very beginning. It's not something you want to
And
do.
we talked about this, when I first met up with you when you got back, but you can't just. People think you can just set stuff by the fire and dry it out.
Oh, it's fun.
You can't do that.
A funny story about that. Okay, so when you're on trail, you're tired, so you have great ideas, at least in your head, but are they really great ideas when you actually put them to work? And so here's what happens. Socks are huge. Dry socks, oh man, that's a commodity on trail in general. So you got either rain that you're going through or puddles, if it's not raining. And then during the beginning, you got snow and stuff you're going through. And then if it's not that, it's you sweating profusely with your feet. Creates
Constantly wet.
Yeah,
constantly wet feet. Can't stop
wet feet.
it. You gotta deal with it.
No,
somehow.
so exactly. So the only way to really dry your socks out, if you're going to be doing anything to dry them out, you can set them in the sun. But sunshine was a commodity out there for the longest time too. But you make a fire, and then you set them by the rock or on a rock around the fire. But the thing is you have to flip those socks, and you have to watch them so closely, and nobody really did because, like I said, you're talking to people around the fire, you're hanging out, and you're just tired. So you're not necessarily going to watch them as closely as you should. So a lot of times people's socks burnt up, and what sucks about that, is they're 100% wool. They're darn toughs. Darn tough is a lifetime warranty on those. Burning your socks does not count for that lifetime warranty, by the way.
Little void.
Yeah, there's a void.
Read
there.
the fine print.
Yeah, there's definitely some fine print that people should look into. But there's a lot of people that did that, and they burnt up their socks just because they wanted dry socks. Like I said, dry socks are a commodity. Everybody wants them, and yeah, a lot of people risked their socks by setting them by the fire, and they got burnt up. So. Did
these towns sell them? You could get more?
The towns sold them, but for more than $20. So if you go to any big retailer like REI, that's the biggest retailer out there that people went to get any of their gear was REI. REI sells them, and they sell them for a reasonable price, $19.99. But you could go into some of these smaller gear shops along the way, because that's all you have is smaller gear shops, and you'll be paying $30 for a pair of socks. So you just toasted a $30 pair of socks that you need. You want to keep at least 2 to 3 pairs of socks on trail. You want to keep a pair of socks that you're going to be hiking in. You want to keep an alternate pair once you've worn that say you've worn it for 3 or 4 days, then you want to switch to another pair. And then you want to keep a pair of sleeping socks. Never take your sleeping socks and hike with those, because your other socks are either wet, worn out, or whatever the case may be, because there is the one thing above all else on trail, and that is your sleep. You get crappy sleep, you have a crappy hike. That's just the way things go. So, yeah.
You pitch a tent?
Yeah, I pitched a tent. You can pitch a tent out there, or you can pitch
sleep on the ground in a nice sleeping bag,
okay.
No tent.
So, I did what's called a budget pack, and a budget pack is right around $600 to $700, and that's for everything. That's clothes, that's tent, that's pack, that's
pretty good.
Sleeping bag. It's pretty good.
That's a lot less than I thought it would be.
A lot less. Most people, the average out there,
you could spend $600 on a sleeping bag.
Exactly. The average out there that was spent on gear was $2,000. Ultralighters spent $4,000 on gear. I spent $7,000.
What's an ultralight?
Ultralight is basically
special gear.
It's special gear. It's literally called ultralight gear mostly. It's what ultralight is it's very minimum weight in comparison to everybody else who's rocking whatever.
So nicer material basically.
Nicer material, but the thing about ultralight is definitely not as durable as the gear that anybody else would be rocking. Now, not to say it's not nice gear and it performs excellent, but it's not going to be as durable. Like, so there's tents out there, and they're called hyperlight tents, and it's basically carbon fiber tents. This is just one brand. There's multiple brands out there, and there's also Z-Pack bags as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the hyperlight tents, they are carbon fiber, and if you place your tent, which you obviously are going to do underneath a tree, and a limb falls on it, a small limb, nothing more than a 2 foot long by
something you can grab as a kid.
Something you can grab as a kid, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it falls on your tent, it'll create a hole in your tent. Now that's because the fibers that they're using, why they're super light, they're not super durable. Mine you could throw a log at and it would be just fine. Yeah, it's fun. You could throw a log at it. And now I am substituting that for my weight. My weight is 3 times what theirs is, but I don't have to worry about things like that. And I'm not paying a premium price. I'm paying 1/6 of what they paid for theirs.
So why would somebody go with an ultralight? So obviously weight. The less weight you have, the easier it would be. But is it for smaller framed people, smaller women, smaller men?
Smaller women on the trail, 5'5" and
you
under.
Sexist motherfucker.
No, bullshit. I'm about to fucking ramp up these 5'5" women that are underclassed as fuck. Because let me tell you, these 5'5" women, if they're 5'5" or under, they are the craziest hiking fools you've ever seen. They can have a 35, 40-pound pack, these women. I'll tell you, I met plenty of them on trail. Talked to them, stayed at hostels with them, this, that, and the other. They're hiking fools. They can do it all. The whole women thing, because they can't carry as much as men. I'll tell you what, these women will prove you wrong in a heartbeat, and they can do more miles than you ever thought they could.
No, there's some weak-ass men out there.
There are some weak-ass men. The funny story is, on the sexist thing, you can go out there and you can see, these women that are doing that, and then you can see these men that have, 25-pound packs that are just bitching like a motherfucker, and you're just sitting there and you're like, you know what, I know all these women out here that are really getting it, grinding it out, and you're going to sit here and you're going to complain about your pack, that you have less weight than them, and overall you should be able to carry more than them, but yet you're going to complain. So, you had some complainers out there, but the complainers never lasted long. I think the complainers probably by the halfway point, which was, Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, you didn't see any of that anymore, So
once you got past it, you're fine. There was nobody that just went. They just started halfway through.
No.
Nobody did that? Is that a thing?
No, yeah, there is. It is a thing, actually.
And then they say they hiked the other part and they just went and got resupplied.
No, here's the thing. Okay, so there's through hikers that just do the whole thing, and there's through hiking flip-flopping. And a flip-flopper is you start at the halfway point, and you're either going south and then you flip to north, or you're going north and you flip to south after you get that section done. And there's a good bit of those, and there's also Nobos. Obviously, that a Nobo hikes north and a Sobo hikes south. If you're going to hike south, you're going to start a little later than the Nobos, just because of the winter that you're going to be facing up north. So the winter up north is brutal. Maine winters are terrible. And just check out some pictures of what Maine's like in March, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the starting time. March, at the end of February to April, I want to say 20th is when you want to do the AT. You start any later than that, and you might not make it. You might not make it just because of time in general.
Time, or you die.
Oh, you could die. There's back to the food topic. There was people out there. See, weed is a huge thing out there on the AT, and as is on any trail, and you can get it wherever you want. You can get it for free as much as you want, but there's a fine line of smoking weed just because you're feeling sore and just smoking it because you're bored out there. People who smoke it because they're bored and they have a 12-pound food bag can take a 12-pound food bag that's supposed to last you 4 days, and they can make it last them 2.5 days. You know what they're doing for the other rest of the time to try to resupply? They're asking other hikers for food. So you run into that quite often. I actually supplied some of those people who I ran into. Well, you know what?
Helping out the potheads.
You know what? I was a pothead on trail for a little while.
Hold
so.
up. All right, had to reset. Talking about potheads.
Talking about potheads.
So, talk about drugs. So we figured pot would be a part of that. You know,
Huge
that's
part.
just.
Biggest part.
I mean, people get
Drug-wise.
sore. You know, I mean, it's not as. It's a lot more in mainstream now, which is fine. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I
The
think it's a good
amount
thing.
of states in general that have legalized
Right.
pot on the East Coast is substantial.
So it's not. I mean, back in the day that would have been crazy, but you know, to us, it's just.
Normal.
It's whatever. Nobody really cares anymore. What about other drugs? Did you run into that a lot, or so? Let's just get one. Pills.
Pills.
A lot of people pass around pills.
Well, hey, you
Speed to try and get going on the trail.
Funny story. So on trail you have these guys who walk the trail. They got what you need per se.
Guys in long coats.
Yeah,
Got what you need, bro.
You got it. So obviously weed everybody sells, even people who aren't walking the trail just sell things. But the two most common drugs out on the trail are shrooms. People love to hike on shrooms. You know, I guess I can't blame them.
Go find yourself.
Go find yourself, exactly. It's a mild hallucinogenic, and then you have weed, which everybody does, and it's more of a remedy for your pain than anything else out there. It's socializing thing as well. Everybody does it. If you don't know somebody and you smoke a joint with them, you can get to know them in like fucking 5 minutes and be the best of friends. It's just the way things go. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that did just about anything they could get their hands on. Acid was really big. I tried for the first time.
Acid.
Molly. Yeah, Molly, not acid. Molly. Now, Molly is considered the love drug for a reason because.
Well, you did meet a girl out there.
I did meet a girl out there, but
This was before.
But this was after.
Oh,
This
wow.
was-
You're not helping your case any.
No, I'm not helping my case. Okay. But here's the thing about Molly. On a side note, real quick, is Molly is considered,
you tell us.
Well, I'll tell
You dare, officer.
Well, well, Molly is considered the love drug because what makes the feel good in your head with anything is your serotonin levels. So what Molly does is it maxes out your serotonin levels to the highest peak as it possibly can. So anybody you talk to, you can have a conversation with, and you just feel like you love everybody. I mean, it's true. I had experienced it. I didn't really think about that was going to happen, but I just went for it and did it. But yeah, it's a good drug, I guess, if you haven't done it before, to try it one time. It's not a good drug to do it on the weekly, daily, or monthly. Try it one time and stop. In my opinion, I was just curious about it more so than anything else.
Pharmacist Jesse.
So
every time you're on, we're going to talk about Pharmacist Jesse.
Well, pharmacist per se, but you go out
Now,
there.
there was one that, I can't remember which one it was, that makes your brain hemorrhage, and that's why it does what it does.
Acid.
Was it acid?
Acid.
That's
does
what I
that.
thought.
Acid does that, and that's why you have the hallucinogenic side of things, just like
So
mushrooms.
there wasn't more natural things like shrooms and weed, and then some mollies, but there wasn't anything else like super hard drugs.
there was pills, but I mean
That was for pain.
yeah.
That was what
for pain. The number one pain drug was weed. Everybody had weed. That's why everybody had weed. So you're sore of hiking. You're doing the hiker hobble.
Gotta
like your
go
grandma.
natural, man.
Okay, you can call it going natural, but so you had weed, but you had weed and you had extracts of weed and so on and so forth. Anything that had THC in it, because that was the natural remedy out there. But back to the Molly real quick. The Molly, once you do it and you're coming off of it, you might feel like you're on level 10. One reason why I would tell you never to do it other than one time is because when you come off it, you feel like you're dead. You feel like death, and I shit you not, because your serotonin levels, because they're depleted after that, because they max out, and you basically deplete any serotonin and you use it that's left in your head. You have no serotonin left by morning, and then you just feel like a zombie, and you feel like you just want to die. And I hiked out like that, and I did 15 miles that day. Worst 15 miles of the whole trail, let me tell you. And the last time I did Molly, so we'll leave it at that.
So you did molly when you were close to the end.
I didn't molly after the halfway point.
Okay.
So the halfway point is...
I thought you might have done it as like a little celebration or something like that.
It was a celebration, the halfway point. You know, you don't think you're going to make it that far necessarily. Not that you definitely don't think you're going to make it that far, but, you know,
we all knew you were going to make it. You're a very determined person. We knew you were going to make it. We just didn't know when.
The win's always a question.
Right.
It's always a question.
Well, that's cool. So we talked about socks. What about, like, shoes? Did you burn through shoes, or do you have one pair the whole time?
Three pairs of shoes.
3 pairs.
And actually only really 2 of those were trail runners, and one of those were boots. Boots, the nice thing about boots on trail, support if you have weak ankles. I wore boots for extended of like 5 years because I was in construction.
So you got weak ankles.
So I have weak ankles because
Kobe'd break them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, everybody out there, you know, you're going to be sitting there and walking and you bust your ankle, basically roll it because you have weak ankles. If you try to transition, you know, it's funny, but you know, you try to transition to trail runners after that to try to strengthen your ankles, and all holy hell breaks loose with you rolling your ankle like every 5 minutes.
So why use trail runners, not just use boots the whole time?
Trail runners are not only lighter, and you can be faster on your feet, but trail runners also, they're going to provide you starting to strengthen your ankles to where you're not relying on that support from
and you can get more done since they're lighter and you can move faster.
You can.
Okay.
You can, yeah.
How many pairs of pants did you have? How many shirts?
1 pair of pants, REI pants. I got rid of them.
Basically like fire hose pants, indestructible type stuff.
No, not so much. Super durable, I would say, but very lightweight and pretty thin. But you know, they went through half of the hike and they didn't get a single hole or rip or anything else in them. So I got rid of them at the halfway point though, and I switched to called Ranger panties. And Ranger panties, yeah, it's hilarious.
Ranger panties.
The name's hilarious, but look them up before you know you want to judge me on that, because they're like super small hiking shorts that go like, you know, halfway up your thigh, and then you know you have your, you know, Under Armour spandex basically that you wear under that, and then you hike in those. Changed my whole hike. I the miles I was able to complete from transitioning from the pants to that, I can't even begin to explain how it changed my hike. So, yeah.
All right, so we'll just cover it all. What did you pack? Gear. You had 3 pairs of shoes, you know, 2 trail runners, pair of boots, 3 pairs of socks, you said?
Okay, so I thought about taking a pair of shoes.
Because you said you had people that were asking you questions when you got back and were following you on Instagram.
Yeah.
So this, if they do listen to this might help them out a little bit.
Okay, so at the beginning, I had my boots, and then I had a pair of water shoes, and that's all I had. I ended up getting rid of my boots at the halfway point, and that's whenever I got the trail runners, and then I got another pair of trail runners after that, because the thing about trail runners is they have half the life expectancy as boots. So keep that in mind if, you know, money's a situation for you. But they're also a little bit more expensive, boots are. What I pack-wise, I had a 35-degree bag. I would recommend a 20-degree bag. Definitely, because people think that Georgia is a very warm place year-round, and turns out that's not the case. So other than that, I had a tent that was a 2-man tent. I can't stand the 1-person tents because I'm a tosser and a turner. If you're a tosser and a turner and you can't sleep in one position, I would recommend a 2-man tent. You're just going to get more comfortable. And you know, 2-man tent's good for.
You said sleep's very important, so
sleep's very
that
important.
would make sense.
And 2-man tents, you know, it's nice for, you know, whatever the other reasons you would like to have it. So then after that, you know, you have sleeping pad. So when I started, I had just a little piece of foam. It was a $12 piece of foam. I was the only one out there that had that as a sleep system, and I got made fun of profusely by just everybody, which was fine because I had a budget pack and that was part of it. But I ended up actually finding when I finally switched, I was 3/4 away with done with the trail, and I finally found a air mattress pad, ultralight, of course. On your pads, there's an R rating. An R rating is how warm it keeps you whenever you're laying on top of it. And how warm you are basically as you sleep through the night. And my R rating for that was 0.5. And a good R rating would be like 4 or 5, and mine was 0.5 for that.
So
but
it was nothing.
It was nothing. It was nothing, but it was
just
better
something
than
to sleep on. It's
exactly.
not going to help you out anyway.
It's better than what I had before.
That's interesting.
So, and those are your 3 things, main things. You have or 4 things, I should say. And then my pack was just a $75 pack. It was a 75-liter pack. And then it was Low Alpine, that was the brand, which is a lower budget but still a great brand. And then I had my sleeping bag. Like I said, it was 35 degrees.
Well, so most of this gear is for, seems like it would be for, you just doing one trail. Now, if you're going to use this gear to hike for the rest of your life,
You couldn't do it.
yeah.
You
And
couldn't.
that's why you would buy the bigger name or the more expensive, because you could probably use that over and over again. Right?
You could use the more expensive gear maybe for 2 through hikes, but you would have had to have taken very well care of it throughout the first hike in order for you to do that. Any gear in general, if it does even last you the whole time, will only last you 1 through hike.
So okay, so I mean,
People are hard on their gear.
Don't worry about trying to save your gear.
No,
Use
people
it
are
to
hard on
its
their
full
gear.
advantage.
They throw their pack down like it's nothing. They just whip their tent out like it's nothing, this, that, and the other. The thing is the amount of miles you hike and how late that you're out hiking until you finally get camp up. The only thing you can think about whenever you finally get to camp is going to sleep. That's it. And eating. Eating actually is number 1. Eating is your highlight of the day. But going to sleep is definitely number 2. It's right up there with it. And a lot of people, they just throw their shit out, and they don't really take into account if I keep throwing my shit out like this, that it's going to get wear and tear damage on it. So I mean, but it's understandable if you're out there and you hike as many miles as we hike a day. It's understandable. So even if you paid $3,000 for your equipment. So yeah,
that's good to know.
Yeah. Oh, well, I ran into black bears probably 6 or 7 times. My closest encounter with a black bear was like probably 50 foot, and then drinking and whatnot.
A little mountain love.
A little mountain love per se. We started drinking and whatnot, and she